And now we go to segment 4, cyber incident response. So you've been breached. Somebody's gotten in. Now what? 1, isolate. Pull the affected machines off the system. Frank, our director of marketing and sales, I think. I don't remember anyone's title.
Sales, yep.
I never remember anyone's title. But Frank was in Baltimore when they had the well-publicized attack. He often tells the story that the first thing they did was they ran around keeping all the machines on so they could see what was still affected and keeping them on the network. And everybody came in at 8 o'clock the next morning and plugged them and turned them off because they knew there was a breach. Know who is controlling it, when and how to turn off all your connections.
Yeah, it just goes back to communication.
Right.
And that's why we keep harping on the number one thing being communication, because we need to make sure that we're all on the same page at each stage. And even if you think that you might be doing the right thing, making sure that others know what you're doing is important.
Know how to isolate the infected system from the rest of the network. Maintain, do not delete files. It is so much easier to do forensic investigation if I can actually look at an infected machine. That will give me clues about who is to blame. And knowing who is to blame isn't fun in and of itself.
Well, we also get
indicators. Tells me, right, but it tells me what approaches might work. So keep machines with the indicators of compromise while you are trying to do your work. Remediate, controlled shutdown of the computer. And this is the most important thing, both for the people who are under the headset and for leadership. You want them to contact security. That means that you need to be on their side when it happens. Pardon me. If somebody clicked on a bad thing, do not make fun of them, no matter how much you want to. No matter how much you want to say, didn't we just have this training last week? Don't worry about that. No ridicule, no punishments. Just accept the information. People make mistakes. You want to do that so that they call you faster, not after it spread to 30 computers.
Exactly.
Next, check your logins. HaveIBeenPwned.com is really good for that.
Yeah, we had an interesting situation once where someone thought they had an incident. They ended up calling us because of a few emails saying that they had their password and were in the network. We hadn't seen any indicators of anything happening in the network. Well, it turns out that password was on a public list. So Have I Been Pwned said that that password was known, that username password combination was already known as part of an earlier breach. So it turned out to be a low-level phishing attempt to scare the victim into acting in one way or another. And we said, just ignore it, change your passwords. If you're still using that password, change it immediately. And he had said, oh yeah, I already changed it. I was like, of course you did. But we don't think that there weren't any other indicators. So this was actually something that helped us solve the problem very quickly. And then after that, nothing else came of it.
And I will say I get those probably once a month in my personal email. They go straight to my spam, but it's always hilarious. It's a password I used 15 years ago. Yeah, I haven't used that password in years. Change your passwords if you need to. And again, you know our rule of thumb, 12 characters is kind of a minimum.
Yep.
Or at least 4 words if you're using a passphrase.
I like to do 5.
Alex likes to do 5 because Alex is paranoid. That's why he's my boss. Immediately run your virus scans. I used to make fun of Windows Defender. I don't anymore. Windows Defender